Good morning once again, class 7th. So, our chapter is going on rulers and buildings. And in last chapter, we learn about buildings, temples, mosques, and tanks. What is the purpose of that one? So, why they have made? You can say why the early people, why the early king was busy to you can say to construct the such type of the buildings. So, in last video, we learn about that one in the King Raj Rajeshwar for the worship of his god Raj Rajeshwaram. Notice how the names. Okay, and now we learn about that one, and you can see all the buildings. Again, I will show you. Okay, some more buildings we have. So in this chapter, we little bit learn about that one too. Okay, so we are here of the rulers and the god are very similar. The king, okay, the same name like. Raj Rajeshwara temple, and the name of the king also the same. So why they have taking the name such type of, you can say, the king took the god's name because it was the auspicious and he wanted the appear like a god, because the king also known as the representative of the god. Through the rituals of worship in the temples, one god, Raj Rajeshwaraya, Rajdeva, honored another Raj Rajeshwara. Okay, so the largest temple were all constructed by the kings. The other lesser deities in the temples were gods and goddesses. To the allies in the subordinate of the rulers, the temple was a miniature model to the world ruled by the king and his allies. As they worshipped their deities together in the royal temples, it seemed as if they brought the just rule of the gods on the earth. So they are the representative of the gods. So they, what what was their symbol? Their symbol means the religious purpose also, you can say, fulfilled by the king, and the deities also there. Some gods and goddesses also they worshipped, and wealth also the shown by the that time of the king. Okay, so that is the religious purpose also, and you can say their advertisement also they have done. Okay, yeah. Now Muslim sultans and padshah, that is that was not in badshah, that is the padshah in the Farsi, did not claim to the in creation. Sorry, that is in okay incarnation. That is called incarnation. Uh, God, but the Persian court chronicles describe the Sultan as the shadow of God. Okay, they not believe in you can say the Shiva and Rudra, the different type of the god we have. One is the avatar of the second first one. So in Mohammedans, you can say the Muslim sultans they are not believe in the incarnations. Okay, so they believe in the shadow of the god, and inscriptions of the Kuwait al Islam Mosque explain the god Qiyas Alauddin as the king. He had the quality of the Moses and Solomon, the great lawgivers of the past. Okay, so they have their such type of the ability, which one found we can found in the such type of the big you can say king. That name is Moses, and the other one the lost Solomon. Okay, so the greatest lawgiver and architect was God Himself. He created the world out of the chaos and introduced order, the symmetry. Okay, so they have give to the equality. Okay, we just like in Hindu, we can say that our Sanatan religion, we have so many deities and gods and goddesses, but they believe only the one God, and they believe in the equality too. Okay, so that's why. So look at the picture here. The plan of the Jama Masjid built by the Shah Jahan is the new capital at the Shah Jahanabad in 1650 and 1656. What it built here? Okay, what is this? That is called Qibla, direction towards Makkah. Okay, whenever the a Muslim person was giving his prayer for his God, so his head will be the down for the Qibla. Okay, that is the direction of the Makkah. Makkah is our western side, so that's why the western side is very important for the Muslims. Okay, they are not believe to statue of the god, they are believe only the direction, you can say. They have no deities of there, but they believe only the Allah. Okay, so now as each new dynasties came to the power, kings wanted to emphasize their moral right to be rulers. Constructing place of the worship provided rulers with the chance to proclaim their close relationship with the God. Okay, so why they have interested in the building of the temples, yeah, such type of the monuments, because they also show for that okay, they are believer of the gods also. Okay, they were also interested in the gods and goddesses. Okay, and their relationship with is very good, was very good for them one. Okay, so an age of the rapid political changes, rulers also offered patronage to the learned and pious and tried to transform their capitals and cities into the great culture centers that brought fame to their rule and their realm. So earlier I mentioned that one. So what was the motive of that type of the that time of the king? The main motive is to fame, name, and they also want to spread their realm. Yeah, you can say their time. They also want to create such type of the mentality for the people, for the praja, means they also believe in the god. So that's why they are brought the centers of their capitals to, and they built their own structures also, you can say, yeah, the own creation also, you can say. They built the monuments also. Okay, so it was widely believed that the rule of the just king would be an age of the plenty when the heavens would not without rain. At the same time, making precious water available by the constructing tanks and reservoirs was highly praised. Okay, Sultan Iltutmish won universal respect for the constructing a large reservoir just outside Dilli-e-Khuna, that is also Delhi. It was called the Hojik Sultani or the King Reservoir. Can you find it in the map number first, so you can find out that one? Okay. And rulers often the constructed tanks and reservoirs, big and small, for use for the ordinary people. Sometimes these tanks and reservoirs were part of the temple's mosque, not the small tank in the Jami Masjid or the Gurudwara place of the worship in the congregation of the Sikha. So you can see easily here also the reservoir. Okay, and just like our temples, yeah, you can see the our Hindu religion, our mostly temple was built in the bank of the river. Okay, so that's why water is very precious. Yeah, you can say very important part of the our religions. Yeah, we can say religious purpose. Yeah, religious rituals purpose, we can say. So here also you can see one tank also built by here. Okay, so they are डू हेयर वजू, वजू मीन्स हाथ पाँव धोना, ठीक है, वो वहाँ पर करते हैं जो नमाज से पहले होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड वजू. ओके, नाउ and they believe that one also Hoje Khas, also built by Alauddin Khilji, and that is Hoje Sultani, the king reservoir built by for the water supplying purpose, you can say, by Iltutmish in Delhi Khuna also. Okay, and you can see in the Swarna Mandiria Golden Temple here also the water available. Okay, so why were the temples targeted? Now why they destroy the temples, just like in earlier I mentioned, which one, Qutub Minar was built by the Kutubuddin Aibak in the you can say earlier there was the Jain temples, and he destroyed that Jain temples and built to them the part of their temples. He built the uh, one minar, yeah, Quwwatul Islam Masjid also. So why they have destroyed? Okay, because king built temples of the demonstrated their devotion of the god and their power and wealth. It is not surprising that when they attacked one another kingdom, they often targeted these buildings. In the early 9th century, when the Pandyan king Sri Vallabh invaded Sri Lanka and defeated the King Sena first, that time was 831 to 851, the Buddhist monk and the chronicle Dhammashakti or Dhammakirti noted he removed all the valuables. The statue of Buddha made entirely of the gold in the jewel palace, and the golden image in the various monasteries. All these he says. Who says? The Indian king. Okay. The blow of the pride of the Singhals rulers had to be avenged, and the next Singhals ruler, Sena II, ordered his general to invade Madurai. Madurai is the part of Tamil Nadu, the capital of the Pandyas. The Buddhist chronicle noted that the expeditions made a specific effort to find and restore the gold statue of the Buddha. So not only the Muslim rulers, the Hindu ruler also, they have also destroyed the temples. Okay. Similarly, in the early 11th century, when the Chola king Rajendra first built a Shiv temple in his capital, he filled it with the phased statue saved from the defeated rulers. An incomplete list include a sun pedestals, that is called the pedestal, from the Chalukyas, a Ganesha statue and several statues of Durga, a Nandi statue from the eastern Chalukyas, an image of the Bhairava, a form of the Shiva, and the Bhairavi, form of the Kalingas of the Odisha, and the Kali statue from the Pala of Bengal. So they all are the deities of the Hindus. So Rajendra first also do same thing. Okay, so that is called the they all also invaders. Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni was contemporary of the Rajendra I. During the campaign in the subcontinent, he attacked the temples of defeated kings and looted their wealth and idols. Sultan Mahmud was not a very important ruler at that time, but by the destroying temples, especially the one at the Somnath, very famous temple. Okay, I will show you where is the Somnath temple. Nowadays, it was the glory of the Gujarat. Somnath temple, very famous temple. Okay, this one related to God Shiva. Okay, Lord Shiva, very famous temple. Okay, so now again we move in our main section. Okay, so now we are here, but he's destroying temples, especially a great hero of Islam. He tried to win credit as the great hero of Islam. In the political culture of the Middle Age, most rulers displayed their political might and military success by the attacking and the looting the places of the worship of defeated rulers, because that time of the tendency, because they also remove the religious culture also of the that particular king. They destroy the whole empire. Okay, they destroy the emperor or two and to looted the wealth of that particular state and destroy the religions mark, you can say, yeah, the temples also. Okay, so Mahmud Ghaznavi, Sultan Mahmud Ghazni, yeah, Ghaznavi also we can say, uh, he invaded in India in 17 times, and Somnath was the famous attack of them. In what was do you think the policy of the Rajendra first and Mahmud of Ghazni were the product of their times? How were the action of the two rulers different? Different one. One is emphasize their rule, you can say, sorry, their glory, because he carry the different deities too in one place, and one is destroy the whole thing. Okay, they destroy, just like Ghazni destroy the symbol of God Shivling, you can say the Shivling of the God Shiva, and he brought, yeah, you can say he carry out for Ghazni that one, and he built there a mosque, and he settled that particular the precious stones of the temples in the street of the Eidgah, yeah, you can say the masjid. Okay, so that one. So now garden, tombs and forts, that is very important. Under the Mughals, architecture became more complex. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir and especially Shah Jahan were personally interested in literature, art and architecture. In his autobiography, Babur described his interest in the planning and laying out the formal gardens placed with the rectangular walled enclosure and divided into the four quarters by the artificial channels, that is called the, yes, this one, that is called Charbagh. Very interested. 1, 2, 3, that is 4. Okay, so that is Charbagh style. So he was very interested for that one. And enclosure and divided into the four quarters. These gardens were called the Charbagh, four gardens, because of their symmetrical divisions into the quarters. Beginning with the Akbar, some of the most beautiful char bags were constructed by the Jahangir and Shah Jahan in Kashmir, Agra, and Delhi. There were several important architectural innovations during Akbar's region. For the inspirations of the Akbar's architect turned to the tomb of his Central Asian ancestor Temur. The central tower's dome and the tall gateway, just like Pistak. Okay, so this one, that is the tomb. Okay, it was the tomb of Humayun, very famous that one. So we can see easily we can see easily in every structure we can see the tomb. Okay, the famous style of the you can say Iranian, or yeah, you can say Mughaliya Sultanate, this one. And also here also you can see the famous Charbagh style. Okay, here also the Charbagh, here also, okay. So everywhere where they built the temple, the monuments, yeah, you can say you can see here the in Sikandra, the Akbar's time, after the death of the Akbar, the Sikandra, his tomb is here established. Okay, so you can see easily here too. Okay, and the minars also. Okay, identify that one also. Very good. Okay, minars also there. Here is the Agra Fort, the gateway of Agra Fort. So now we can see Diwane Am, Diwane Khas. Okay, it is very famous. We can learn in the next session. Okay, next one. Architect first visible in the Humayun tombs. The tomb was placed in the center of the huge formal charbagh and built in the tradition known as the Eight Paradise of the Hast Bahist, central hall surrounded by the 8 rooms. There are the 8 rooms. The buildings were constructed with the red sandstones, as with the white marble also. Okay, so all the building here is, you can see easily the white marbles is there. Okay, used white marble, here also white. Okay, but here you can see easily I find out the red stones easily. You can say that is not easy to make that one, but the red sandstone was available for that one, and they are very interested to build such type of the monuments there. Okay, it was during Shah Jahan reign that the different elements of the Mughal architecture was fused together in the grand harmonies synthesized. His reign witnessed a huge amount of the construction activities placed in especially in the Agra and Delhi. The ceremonial halls of the public and private audience, Diwane Khas or Aam, were carefully placed with a large courtyard. These courts were also described as the Chilhil Sutun or the 40 pillared halls. That is called the Chilhil Sutun, Sutun or the 40 pillars halls. Okay, so you can see here it is a Takhte Taush. It was a Takhte Taush where the king was seated and giving to order to his Samantas, you can say. Okay, so here you can mention, you can see easily Diwane Aam and Diwane Khas. Diwane Aam means all public, or Khas means some their cabinet also there. Okay, so Khas means the Khas people of they are surrounded. Okay, in Darbari you can say. So now today we learn from here too. Thank you.